Have you ever wondered what's more important, knowing a whole bunch of facts or knowing what to do when things get tricky? Well, today we're going to use a really simple story to look at two very different kinds of smarts. Let's get into it. So let's just ask the big question right up front. What really is the difference between being educated and being intelligent? Are they the same thing, or are they totally different? That's what we're going to unpack today. You've probably heard people talk about this before, book smarts versus street smarts. One is all about what you learn in school, from books. The other, well, that's about how you handle real life when it throws a problem at you. Let's see how this plays out in a classic story. All right, so let's meet our two main characters. On one side, we've got the wolf. He is super proud of himself, thinks he's twice as educated as anyone else. And on the other side, there's the jackal. He's a bit more humble, says he's only half educated, but he's got this knack for thinking on his feet. It's the ultimate showdown, right? Book smarts versus street smarts. So, the story kicks off with these two just having a chat, but it doesn't take long for it to turn into a big boast, which, as you'll see, gets put to the test in a huge way. So get this, the wolf, puffing out his chest, actually says this to the jackal. He truly believes that because he's read more books, he's on a whole other level. He thinks he deserves to be called sir. He's convinced his education makes him better than the jackal. But oh boy, is that idea about to get a serious reality check. And bam! Just like that, their whole debate about who's smarter, it doesn't matter anymore. A massive, hungry tiger jumps out at them. This is not a pop quiz. You can't study for this. This is a real-life, life-or-death problem. And suddenly, all that education, what good is it when you're about to be an afternoon sack? Now, this is where it gets good. While the super-educated wolf just stands there totally frozen, the half-educated jackal's brain starts spinning. He comes up with this amazing plan right on the spot. He's not using his brain to show off, he's using it to survive. So, what's the jackal's first move? He turns to the tiger and butters him up. He calls the tiger sir, talks about his superior intelligence, and asks for help. It's absolutely brilliant. He's playing to the tiger's ego to buy them some time. So the jackal just makes up this whole story out of thin air. He tells the tiger that he and the wolf are having an argument over two chickens. He even uses the wolf's own words against him, saying the wolf thinks his qualifications are so important. By asking the tiger to be the judge, he makes the tiger feel powerful, important, and totally distracted. And yep, the trap works like a charm. The tiger is loving this. He's thinking, awesome, first a free chicken dinner, and then I'll just eat these two knuckleheads for dessert. He's so busy thinking about the reward, he has no idea he's being played. So the jackal leads everyone over to this really narrow tunnel. He tells the wolf, who's probably shaking like a leaf, to go on in and get those imaginary chickens. The wolf squeezes in, the jackal dives in right behind him, and then the master plan becomes clear. The tiger? He's way too big to follow. He's just stuck outside. The tiger waits, and he waits, and then it finally hits him. He's been completely outsmarted by this little jackal. He gets super angry, roars a bit, and finally gives up and stomps off. And just like that, the wolf and jackal are safe. And this right here is the big moment. After it's all over, the wolf turns to the jackal and says this. He finally gets it. All his books, all his studying, it was totally useless when a real crisis hit. It was the jackal's quick, clever, practical thinking that saved both their lives. Okay, what a story, right? So let's step back for a second and think about what we can learn from this. What does this story tell us about what it really means to be intelligent?
You know, the big lesson here is actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. Intelligence isn't really about how many facts you can memorize. It's about your ability to adapt. It's about being able to handle new situations, to think on your feet, and to solve whatever problem is staring you in the face. Let's just put them side by side one last time. When that tiger showed up, what happened? The wolf, with all his education, just froze. Couldn't move, couldn't think. But the jackal? He sprang into action. He was quick, he was creative, and he adapted to a super dangerous situation.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? True intelligence is all about action. It's not just about having a ton of information stored in your brain. It's about being able to use that information to actually do something, to fix something, to solve a problem.
So why does this old story matter to us today? Well, because we all face our own tigers in life, right? Maybe not real tigers, but big, unexpected problems that pop up. So let's look at how we can use that jackal-style intelligence to deal with them.
Okay, here's a tiger a lot of people face. Imagine some kids are bullying you. What's the intelligent move? What would the jackal do? Just standing there and taking it? Freezing up like the wolf? That's not going to solve anything. The intelligent response is to do something. You adapt. You don't just stay quiet. You find a new approach. That might mean talking to a teacher or a parent who can help. Or maybe you even try to talk to the other kids and figure out the problem. The point is, you take action.
Okay, let's look at another one, and this one's really serious. Imagine a stranger comes up to you and says, "Hey, your mom sent me to pick you up." This is a scary situation where thinking fast and thinking smart is absolutely crucial.
So what's the jackal's plan here? First, stay calm. Panicking is what the wolf would do. Second, you adapt. You say, "Okay, great. Can you call my mom so I can talk to her for a second?" And number 3, the most important step. You do not go anywhere, not one step, not until you know for sure it's safe. That is real-world intelligence in action. So at the end of the day, true intelligence isn't some magic thing you're either born with or not. It's a skill. It's a skill you can practice. It's the skill of looking at the problems life throws your way, big and small, and figuring out a way through them.
And so, I'll leave you with this last little thought to chew on. Think about it. When was the last time you faced a problem and, instead of freezing up or getting stuck, you thought on your feet and found a clever way out? When was the last time you were the intelligent jackal and not just the educated wolf?